The biggest three mistakes made by PDR beginners when they're buying tools are: they buy way too many tools, they buy not good to bad quality tools, and they spend way too much money on tools. Now, the three actually tie together, but the first and last almost tie together more, but I'll explain the difference. Number one, buying too many tools. When I first started, my kit comprised of more than 100 tools. Now to today, my kit comprises of less than 1/5 of that amount. And I've done that because I came to the startling conclusion that I didn't need as many tools, but I didn't know. As a beginner, I thought, wow, the more tools I have, the better the places I'm going to be able to get into. I had tools that barely looked any different. Almost to the naked eye, you couldn't tell the difference, but just by some slight measurements, they were different. Or maybe 1/16 in diameter of wire was the only difference, the metal that's being used, 1/16 in diameter difference. It was so minimal that I had this kit that looked very impressive, mind you. I must say, like when my family first saw the kit, they were like, wow, look at this huge kit you've bought. But if only they'd seen my bank balance and saw how broke I was after spending all that money on those tools, they probably wouldn't have been as impressed. The second problem is the quality of the tooling. That's a real tough one. For a beginner, that's a real tough one. As a beginner, you can make a decision on how much you're going to buy and how much you're going to spend, but the quality is really a really difficult thing to determine. I can recommend A1 tools. I have used A1 tools, and I will say from my training in America back all those years ago, it was one of the biggest things that I did learn, that A1 tools were fantastic. I've used them. I did switch away from A1 for a very short period of time, and I say that, I'm talking a matter of weeks I did switch away for, but I went straight back to A1 because I realised that these were the best tools that were available, and still to this day available, in my opinion. Now the third thing is spending too much money. I don't only mean by purchasing too many tools you'll spend too much money. I also mean sometimes you can look at an overseas website. Now when I say overseas, I'm mainly referring to American and US websites. Often you'll look at their prices on their website and you'll say, oh wow, look at that price, I'm going to buy all these different tools. But by the time the tool arrives, or the tools arrive into the country of Australia, once they've received duties, taxes, GSTs, crazy priced air freights, all of a sudden this whole, wow, that tool that started off at X price has been X times infinity by the time it's landed in Australia. So that's something to be very wary of. Even if you are buying great quality tools, you need to look for someone, and I will plug the dent shop here because I buy my tools off the dent shop. I don't go overseas to buy my tools, even though they're American tools. The reason the dent shop can supply the tools for such a competitive, and I'm going to say maybe better price in most respects, is because they buy them in bulk, so they have bulk discounts, and they're able to send them over on a cheaper form of freight, so maybe sea freight rather than air freight. Whenever I ordered tools in the past, it would always come air freight. Often you just get a box of very small sizes and you're up for hundreds of US or euros, US dollars or euros, in freight just for this air freighted box. And it was like, wow. So now that someone in Australia is being able to bring things in bulk, and I guess is putting themselves out there to do that, you as the consumer reap the me as the consumer, I reap the rewards for it, because I'm able to buy tools at a better price and still the same quality because it's exactly the same brand that I've purchased before.